The city of Lagos shimmered under a velvet night sky, towers of light rising like beacons of wealth and power. Among them stood the majestic Obasanjo Tower, a 50-floor glass monument that belonged to one of Africa's youngest billionaires, Kwame Obasanjo. Sharp, tall, and dark-skinned, with an aura that commanded attention, Kwame embodied authority. Dressed in a perfectly tailored charcoal suit, his very presence carried the weight of a man who had conquered everything life could offer. Yet tonight, behind the vast glass walls of his office, his confidence seemed slightly stirred by curiosity, because sitting before him was a woman unlike any other he had ever met. Zara Adaimi, a 26-year-old graduate, sat nervously across the desk, her elegant beige dress simple yet graceful. Her posture was steady, but her trembling hands betrayed the fear in her heart. Behind her calm expression hid desperation, the kind that drives someone to cross every boundary just for a sliver of hope. Kwame's deep voice broke the silence as he leaned back in his chair. "Miss Adaimi," he said, his tone smooth but distant, "you've been trying to meet me for weeks. My assistant said you refused to leave the lobby. What could be so important?" Zara swallowed hard, her throat dry, but she gathered her courage. "It's my father, Mr. Obasanjo," she said softly. "He's dying." Kwame frowned slightly, his expression unreadable. "And what do you expect me to do about that?" Zara's voice trembled as she replied, "You own St. Lucia Medical. They're refusing to perform his surgery because I can't afford the deposit. He'll die if nothing is done. Please, I came to beg you don't let him die." A heavy silence fell. Outside, thunder murmured faintly, as if the heavens themselves were listening. Kwame's sharp eyes studied her closely. He'd met thousands of people who came to him begging for help, most rehearsed, manipulative, or dishonest. But something about Zara was different. Her words were raw, her tears genuine, her desperation real. Slowly, he stood, walking toward the window overlooking the city lights. "Do you know how many people come to me with stories like yours?" Ati said quietly. "If I helped everyone, I'd have nothing left." Zara rose from her chair, emotion breaking through her restraint. "I'm not asking for charity," she said firmly, voice quivering. "I'm asking for a chance to save my father, the only person who's ever believed in me. I'll do anything. Anything you ask." Kwame turned sharply, his gaze piercing through her. The word anything lingered in the air like a dangerous secret. His tone lowered. "Anything." She nodded without hesitation, tears brimming in her eyes. "Yes." He took a slow step closer, his expression unreadable. "You don't even know who I am," he said. "You don't know what kind of man you're making promises to." Zara's breath caught, but she stood her ground. "I know you have power," she said quietly, "and power is the only thing that can save my father." For a long moment, neither spoke. The silence between them felt electric. Then, without another word, Kwame walked back to his desk and pressed a button on the phone. "Tell St. Lucia Medical to prepare for immediate surgery," he ordered. "All costs are to be charged to my account." Zara blinked, frozen in disbelief. You'll really do it?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. Kwame looked at her without emotion. "Yes, but understand something. Miss Adaimi, nothing in life comes free." Before she could speak, he added calmly, "Tomorrow, 10 a.m. You'll come here again. Alone. I'll tell you how you can repay me." Her heart pounded in her chest. "Repay you?" she whispered. "I told you, I'll do anything." He raised a hand, silencing her instantly. "Don't say that word so easily. You might regret it." Zara lowered her gaze, but her voice trembled with conviction. "If it means saving my father, I'll never regret it." As she walked out of the office, the city greeted her with a storm. Rain fell in shimmering sheets, soaking through her dress, blending with her tears. She stood at the base of Obasanjo Tower, looking up at the glowing building that now held her future. Her father would live, but at what cost? The next morning, her phone rang. It was the hospital. The doctors informed her that her father's surgery had been completed successfully. Relief crashed over her like a wave. She ran to the hospital, bursting into tears when she saw her father lying peacefully in bed, his weak smile filled with gratitude. "You did it, my child," he whispered softly. "You found a way." But Zara couldn't bring herself to tell him the truth that she had made a promise to a billionaire who viewed life as a series of transactions. As her father fell asleep, she sat beside him, staring at the raindrops sliding down the window pane. Gratitude wrestled with fear in her heart. What did Kwame Obasanjo really want from her? That evening, she returned to the towering skyscraper, her nerves tightening with every step. The rain had stopped, but the air still smelled of thunder. When she entered Kwame's office again, he was already waiting leaning against the glass window, dressed in a sleek black designer suit. The faint city lights reflected off his dark skin and sharp jawline, giving him an almost unreal aura. "You came," he said quietly, locked on her. "I keep my promises," she replied softly. He nodded approvingly, walking toward her. "Good. Then here's how you can repay me." Zara's breath hitched. Her palms turned cold. Kwame's gaze was steady, his voice calm yet commanding. "I need a wife." Zara froze, her heart skipping a beat. "A wife?" she whispered, confused. "Yes," he said simply. "For 6 months, a public arrangement. You'll attend every event with me, live under my roof, and act the part. In return, your father's debts are cleared when it's over. You walk away free." Zara stared at him, unable to believe what she was hearing. "Why me?" she asked, her voice trembling. A faint smile touched his lips. "Because you're different. You didn't come for money, you came to save someone you love. That's rare." She felt her knees weaken, her mind spinning with shock. The idea was impossible madness. Yet her father's fragile smile flashed before her eyes, his weak hand gripping hers. Slowly, she nodded. "I'll do it." Kwame's eyes softened for the first time, though his tone remained firm. "You have no idea what you've agreed to, Miss Adami." As Zara turned to leave, his deep voice echoed behind her. "Tomorrow, your new life begins." The elevator doors closed. And her reflection stared back at her, frightened, uncertain, but determined. Somewhere between gratitude and fear, Zara knew her world was about to change forever. The morning sun painted Lagos in golden light as Zara Adami stood before the mirror, adjusting her sleek black gown. Her reflection looked calm, but her heart was a storm. It had been less than 24 hours since she made that impossible promise to Kwame Obasanjo, Africa's most mysterious billionaire. She still couldn't understand why a man with the world at his feet needed her to pretend to be his wife. Yet, as she stepped into the black SUV waiting outside, she knew there was no turning back. At the gates of Obasanjo Estate, a sprawling modern mansion overlooking the Atlantic, Zara's breath caught. The estate was breathtaking polished marble steps, infinity pools reflecting the sky, and guards in designer suits. Everything about it screamed wealth, but to Zara it felt like stepping into a cage made of glass. Kwame stood at the top of the stairs, dressed in a crisp white shirt and tailored navy trousers. His presence was commanding, calm, and unreadable. "You're late," he said, his tone neutral but his eyes sharp. Zara lowered her gaze slightly. "Traffic," she murmured. He gave a small smirk. "You'll need to learn punctuality if you're going to live in my world." Inside the mansion, everything gleamed. Modern art, black marble floors, glass walls overlooking the sea. But what struck Zara most was how cold it all felt, like a palace with no soul. As a maid led her to her room, she noticed something surprising: a large framed photo of a woman on the hallway wall. The woman was elegant, dark-skinned, and smiling, her eyes filled with warmth. Beneath it was a nameplate, Amara Obasanjo. Zara hesitated. "Who is she?" she asked softly. Kwame's voice came from behind her. "My late wife," Her heart skipped. The tone in his voice was different, now heavy, filled with something she couldn't name. "I'm sorry," she whispered. He didn't reply. He simply turned and walked away, leaving her staring at the photograph. For the first time, she saw pain in the eyes of the man who seemed unshakable. That evening, their arrangement began. Zara was introduced to Quame's World lavish business dinners, charity galas, flashing cameras. She played her part perfectly, the elegant, devoted wife. Her soft-spoken grace and natural beauty quickly caught attention across Lagos's elite circles. But behind every public smile, she carried a secret, the truth that this marriage was nothing but a transaction. As days turned into weeks, something unexpected began to happen. Kwame, the man who was known for being cold and untouchable, started to change. He found himself watching her when she wasn't looking, the way she laughed softly when the wind blew through her hair, the way she treated the staff with kindness, something his late wife used to do. One night, after a charity dinner, they returned home in silence. The rain had started again, tapping gently against the car windows. Zara removed her heels and sighed, exhaustion on her face. "You don't have to pretend all the time," she said quietly. Kwame glanced at her. "Pretend? This perfect, untouchable version of yourself." "You wear it like armor," she replied softly. "But armor gets heavy after a while." For a long moment, he said nothing. Then, with a faint smile, he murmured, "You speak like someone who's lived through pain." "I have," she said. "But pain taught me to love even when I'm afraid." Their eyes met, and something shifted. The distance between them felt smaller. Days later, the truth behind their arrangement began to unravel. Zara overheard a tense conversation between Kwame and his lawyer, Mr. Damini, in the office. "The investors still don't trust you after Amara's death," Damini said. "They think you've lost your emotional balance. This marriage, real or fake, is the only thing that convinces them you've moved on." Zara froze. So that was it. She wasn't just a favor. She was his public redemption. That night, she confronted him. "You used me," she said, voice trembling. "This was never about helping my father. It was about saving your image." Kwame's face darkened. "Don't twist this, Zara. I kept my word. Your father lives because of me." Tears burned in her eyes. "You saved him just to use me." He took a step closer, his voice low. "You think I wanted this? You think I enjoy pretending?" His tone cracked, anger laced with something deeper. "You think you know me, Ba. You don't know what I lost." For the first time, she saw the pain in his eyes, the same pain she saw in that photograph of his late wife. His voice softened. "Amara didn't just die, Zara. She was taken from me because of a deal gone wrong. Every night I live with that guilt. I built this empire, but I lost my soul in the process." The silence between them was heavy, filled with unspoken truth. Slowly, she stepped closer. "You don't have to carry it alone anymore," she said softly. Kwame looked at her, truly looked, and something in him broke. His hand reached up, brushing away a tear from her cheek. For the first time, his touch wasn't calculated, was real. Weeks passed, and the line between contract and reality began to blur. The world saw a perfect couple. But in private, Zara and Kwame were becoming something more. Their laughter echoed through the mansion. Their quiet dinners stretched for hours. Yet, just when love began to bloom, a storm approached. One evening, Zara received a message, a photograph of her father, terrified, with a note that read, "Quame's enemies haven't forgotten. If you stay, your family won't be safe." Her world shattered again. She confronted Kwame, shaking. "They're threatening my father. You said we'd be safe." Kwame's face turned pale. "It's my fault," he whispered. "Amara died because of them. They think you're my real wife now." Tears rolled down her cheeks. "Then I have to leave." His voice cracked. "If you leave, they'll still find you." but if you stay, I can protect you." She looked into his eyes, torn between love and fear. "You promised to save my father," she said, her voice trembling. "Now I have to save you from yourself." Before he could respond, she turned and walked away, rain pouring outside just like the night it all began. Her reflection in the glass doors was different, now stronger, braver, but broken. As the elevator descended, Kwame whispered into the empty room, "Zara, you were never supposed to matter. But now, you're the only thing that does." To be continued. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, comment, and share this video. Tell us in the comments, would you stay for love or walk away for safety? Subscribe for part 3, where truth, love, and danger collide in ways no one expects.